everyone, and welcome to the last episode of the first season of Femtech in Asia. My name is Karen. I'm the founder of the Della HQ. Femtech in Asia is where I offer a glimpse into the world of sexual wellness and femtech businesses in Asia. And for our last episode today, I have with us the founder of Femcy, Nandhini. Hi.
Hi. Nice to be here.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm very well, thank you. It's just Thursday. What a
It's
week.
Thursday already, you mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh,
Yes.
has the week been flying by for you?
I think I can't believe it's Thursday. Yeah. It's surprising to me. Yeah.
So tell us where are you calling us from?
I'm from Singapore, which is where I run Femcy. I'm the co-founder of Femcy, and we are a menstrual wellness app. That's the short version.
What is the long version?
Okay. So now, people who menstruate, right?
Yes.
So we are conditioned to believe that period cramps, pains, some degree of mood swings, all of these are completely normal. Here's news, it's actually common, but not normal. And a lot of these symptoms are indicative of, underlying nutritional deficiencies and maybe, underlying hormonal conditions and imbalances that may happen. And that's what Femcy does. So Femcy offers personalized lifestyle guidance, like through nutrition advice, through exercise, through stress management, which can actually help to address these symptoms, identify underlying hormonal imbalances, and sometimes even help you, realize that you may have a condition that you didn't know you suffered from, say PCOS or endometriosis or something as simple as estrogen dominance or PMS.
How are these tracked? I mean, do I key in as a user different types of symptoms? How do I know what to say about my menstrual cycle?
Okay, you're already doing this. So when you use a period tracker, say Flow or Clue or any of the common ones, you enter your symptoms, right? So you say, this is when my period's due, and I had mood swings today, or I had cramps today. And what you do with these apps is, say, in the case of some of the more simple period trackers, you don't know why you're tracking it. You're just tracking it to know that they're going to come. And in some of the more advanced ones, say like Flow, you learn about your body. So you get content based on the symptoms you track. What you don't get, or what's really rare, is you don't get solutions. So you don't understand what is the underlying cause. For example, PMS can be reduced to a great extent if you have vitamin B6, magnesium, calcium, and D3. So a lack of any of these components in your diet or nutrition or simply your body can aggravate your PMS symptoms. So what Femcy will do is Femcy will tell you if you're recording that you have PMS symptoms, it will recommend that you eat foods that are rich in these vitamins and minerals. It will tell you to exercise in certain ways that can help to increase serotonin in your body, which can help to address the mood swings. So this is science. This exists. This has existed for at least like 10 to 15 years.
Awesome. You can tell all of that just by me tracking my symptoms in the app.
There's science, and this science has actually existed for about 10 to 15 years, and sports people use this. So
I mean, that's what Nike just did, right?
Yes. Nike does this. The women's football club of Chelsea does this. There is quite a bit of application of this in sports medicine. We're just trying to bring it to, the needs of everyday menstruators.
Is this a problem you have faced yourself? Bad menstrual symptoms? And the app was kind of born out of necessity for you?
Pretty much. So, I mean, I can't complain, honestly. The only thing I can say is I have crazy PMS symptoms, and a lot of that is driven by my bad diet choices. My co-founder, Jackie, she actually suffered from endometriosis for about 7 years, and it took her about 4 years to diagnose it. And she's been able to, since diagnosis, manage it through, basically diet, lifestyle, and like this crazy calendar that she used to maintain. So that was like Femcy 1.0, and that was the birth of Femcy.
Wow. And this app is, when was this founded? And how has the journey been?
Okay, so we started working on this in early 2020. And took us quite a while to actually, collect the research, work with nutritionists and experts in order to actually build the content engine. We launched our beta version, which offers both content personalized to each user's in data and coaching, basically. So you have somebody to handhold and help you. So we launched this about just under a month ago. And
the coaching.
yes.
Oh, cool. Like a menstrual lifestyle coach?
Pretty much, yes. So if you've used Noom or any of the apps that actually have a buddy to help you, improve your fitness or improve the recommendations you get and the value you get out of the app, we do this for periods, technically. So you have a coach, like a fitness trainer, who can help you to make the right choices through the month so you can have less PMS at the end of the month.
And is this something that you've added on because the users have asked for it, or you thought that it was a good progression to have a
so
coach?
this completely came out of what our users asked for. So we launched the content version as part of basically our studies and as we were trying to understand our users in the middle of last year. And so a lot of what we were doing was when we asked for feedback about the app, they had questions for us. They had like, okay, so I'm doing this. Now tell me how I, use the app better to get more results, or I'm still facing these problems and I need further help. So that's what gave rise to the coaching module, which then offers more detailed, more personalized advice for each user.
Wow, that's amazing. Because I mean, sometimes really when entrepreneurs start a business, you're like, okay, I'm going to build it for this thing. And you almost don't realize that the user also helps you build your business.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's definitely true. You come out with a certain view of what the market needs or what the user needs based on your experiences. And you're not the only user, right? So so
I
we
hope.
learned that. Yeah. Yes, I hope. Yeah. So
because
yeah,
I'm like, I think a business works when when someone is a user that is a person I don't know at all. Then I'm like, okay, it's reached someone that's not in my circle.
Exactly. No, I know. For a lot of early on, a lot of the feedback was our friends, our family. But as we started to speak to more and more menstruators across our markets, which is India and Singapore, we started to learn that they come from all walks, right? There are people who are actually pretty informed, and so they know what they want and they need help getting that out of the app. And there are people who are completely clueless and who just need help understanding their body and understanding why this is happening to them. Yeah. So we had to build the app to cater and handhold all of these people toward the goal that we were trying to offer them, which is better menstrual health.
And do you have experience in building apps in the, not in the femtech space maybe, but is this your first startup, entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, this is definitely my first startup, yes, and my first foray into the femtech world. But I have been watching this space since 2013, since Clue came out, the first period tracker, or at least the first famous one. Yeah. And I have actually helped with app building as a product developer in early days of my career. And I have, seen another app grow and scale in Southeast Asia in the travel space, where I actually have been working for the past 4 years. Yeah.
Did you ever see yourself as an entrepreneur? I'm always curious to find out when someone starts their own business.
I think I've always had, ideas, so you think of an idea and you're like, oh, this is a fabulous idea. I wish I had this. And then you actually see it become a trend and you see that trend pass. So this happened to me twice. And I was like, it's not happening at that time. I've since learned that they're not VC fundable businesses. Both of them were lifestyle businesses. And that's the thing that I've learned in the past year. But so the first one was the rise of the soup restaurants, like the soup spoon and some other ones.
Yeah.
Yes. So that was my first, fantasy. So, soups from all over the world. So there's pho and there's something from Mexico and from Russia. Yes, boy. Yes. So that was my first fantasy, if you will. I won't call it a business plan. The second one was also in the food space, funnily. That was when the Magnolia Bakery started trending. So I wanted to do a mini desserts and mini cupcakes
Oh,
brand, which again became a trend. And by the time I actually wanted to act on it, it was very saturated. That one actually became a business plan, one that I didn't act on.
so third time's the charm, pretty much.
Yep,
We're
this time I'm
hoping.
doing it.
Well, I think that kind of brings us nicely into the next question. So, I know that you have joined an accelerator, a femtech focus accelerator. I wanted to ask your experience with it because the cohort is still running, right? It's still going
Yep.
on.
Yes, we're still part of the accelerator, at least until June. And the great thing about this accelerator, which is basically Femtech Lab, is that they actually offer support all the way through to your first fundraise, which is lovely, which is, it can happen immediately for some people, it can take a while longer for some others. And it's lovely to have, support and guidance all the way through the journey. And another good thing, and I would say it's the only good thing that happened out of COVID, is that we've actually had an opportunity to be a part of, an accelerator which is across the globe, which would usually be offered face to face.
Because
But
they're in
now,
London, are they?
exactly, they are based out of London. Yes, that's quite a few late nights for us out here in Singapore.
Oh, yeah, the
But
time difference.
exactly. But no, I'm actually just happy that, startups across Asia actually get a chance to participate in accelerators and programs all over the world. And that's one of the only good thing that happened this year.
What is your view on this space in Singapore? Because I'm seeing like since October last year, there's been a lot of femtech businesses popping up. So I wanted to ask, I mean, since you guys started earlier, like at the start of the year, maybe even planning before, what's your view on the space?
I'd say that, it's a really exciting space to be. And I actually want to talk about, something about, basically Singapore itself.
Yeah.
So we have all, we're a very diverse bunch in Singapore, right? So there are people who are like completely clueless, they're like super repressed, and there are people who are super aware and who are actually looking for solutions. And so the one thing that's actually happened in 2020 is that a lot of people have been looking for answers, who've been speaking out and who've been actually starting to learn and grow about their bodies. And I think all of these startups are an answer to that, increase in interest. And it's a great thing for our space. And I can actually happily say that, we are quite a diverse bunch, from menstrual health to choosing the right contraceptive method to sexual wellness. And I think it's a great space to be. Good times.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think so. I used to be a bartender and I was always in the cocktail scene. And there's maybe no direct relevance, but when bartending scene was still growing, because it's quite small and it almost feels like the industry grows together and it doesn't feel competitive even though you're in the same space. And that's kind of like the same feeling that I get from the femtech space in Singapore, that it's, even though there are, I guess, more and more of us, it feels collaborative instead of competitive. I'm not sure if you feel the same way. Maybe I'm just
Definitely.
in my own
No.
bubble.
No, it's definitely very collaborative. And I know at least, 3 or 4 of, the people who are in this space. So I can say the Scarlet Company, Zaza Zoo, who's in the sexual wellness space. There's Fern, there's Ease.sg, there's Fig Health.
Yeah.
And I think all of us are, we've interacted at some point or the other.
Yes.
And yeah, I think we are definitely, all of us are very excited to, explore opportunities together in the near future.
What has been the most rewarding thing about starting Femcy? If you can pick just one, or you can say more. Just maybe
Okay.
one is too hard.
So I think the most rewarding thing is for me personally. So I've been like the first experiment of Femcy. So a lot of the things that we roll out on the app in terms of content and recommendations, I've actually benefited from a lot of it. And I can honestly tell you that I'm not a terror during my PMS week anymore. So the benefit is not just to me, it is also to my family.
That's the best
yes.
testimonial. I'm not a monster anymore.
So yeah, no, I mean, that's just, joking aside, I think the most beneficial thing is to see, how many women or how many menstruators actually share these concerns. How many people think it's normal and how many people are excited to see a solution for problems that actually impede their quality of life quite severely. And I think that's the most wonderful thing about the past year.
Have you received recently any touching testimonials?
Well, we've heard of at least two people in the past, since 2021 began, who have gotten a diagnosis, one for PCOS and one for adenomyosis, which is a related condition similar to endometriosis. So they went and got further help and confirmed that their diagnosis for PCOS and adenomyosis as a result of using the Femcy app to understand their bodies.
I mean,
And
that's
I think,
great, right? Because
that's
PCOS is notoriously hard to diagnose. I think in
yes.
our previous conversation, you were telling me some stats that was shocking, right? There was a difference between genetics.
Yeah, and I think, so we were speaking about why there is a need for Femtech or localized Femtech in Asia, and why, a user cannot just use an American app or something from the West. And I was telling you that PCOS comes with, say, 3 markers. So it's either definitely irregular periods or absent periods. And there is, weight gain and, hairy, chin, etc. Exactly, hair growth, abnormal hair growth on your face and body. And the third is when you have an ultrasound and they identify that you have polycysts on your ovaries, so multiple cysts on your ovaries. Now, the problem is in Asia, or at least in women of, East Asian origin, we don't have many of those markers. So what they have is they have irregular periods, and nobody thinks to go to get an ultrasound because they don't have the other markers. They don't have the weight gain. They don't have the abnormal hair growth. So it can be really hard for them to get to a gynecologist sooner because all they're having is irregular periods, and that's all. So that's one. And now if you look at endometriosis, the global stats say 1 in 10 people have endometriosis globally. And this is just those who've been diagnosed. There's still a lot of people who don't get diagnosed soon enough. In Asia, however, it's 1 in 6.
1 in 6?
So, so it can be, it's higher than the global average. So that's one of the reasons. So we actually have a genetic propensity for conditions like endometriosis.
Wow.
And Indian women or women of South Asian origin actually have a greater propensity for conditions like PCOS, which is closely related to insulin resistance and diabetes as well. So this is why we need localized awareness and a localized solution that accounts for these, basically these statistics.
Wow, that's like something you don't even think of.
Yeah, I mean, this is something that even we just came across in the research over the past year and a half. But this is something that everyone should know.
Trickle down to us, not trickle down, but I mean, they kind of find their way over to Singapore shores from the US and from Europe, right? We're always kind of adopting trends and products from there. So I guess it wouldn't matter so much with things like organic period products, but what you just said, like, it matters greatly.
No, and I'm definitely, I mean, our medical community is probably aware of this already, but I feel that, everybody should know this. So that you're more aware that this could be one of the reasons for your symptoms. And that way you get the care you need sooner.
Yeah. What has been the most challenging thing about running your own business, starting your own business, or maybe about this space in particular?
Okay, so I'm going to start with a general one. So as with running any business, you learn that there is a learning curve that you can scale. There are things that you can learn to do, and there are things that you just cannot do, no matter how hard you try. So for me, that was design and art, and I spent, I think, too much time figuring it out, and I should just have reached out to experts sooner. So it's really been a learning in delegation. And as for Femtech in particular, I think one of the greatest challenges that we've faced is how much awareness needs to be built, to be honest. So there's a lot of, social conditioning that we have that it's okay to have cramps, or that it's, okay to suffer a little bit. It's just part of the female experience. And I think the greatest thing for us, the challenge for us, is to, get the message across that it's common, not normal.
I'm going to extract that line from the interview.
Yeah.
Because I think also on the flip side, I generally, well, I think even now, I think they say it gets worse after you're 30, but even after I passed 30, I've never had cramps. I didn't really have PMS, So in a way, I never thought of needing to know more. But I guess that's also a negative point, right? Because just because I'm not experiencing any symptoms doesn't mean that I don't need to understand what's going on in my body.
No, I mean, you're one of the lucky 25%. Did you know that 75% of women experience some sort of PMS or other related symptoms during their period?
Now I definitely do.
Yeah.
I don't know if life is more stressful now than when I was 20, but I definitely do now.
But no, yeah, I mean, it's good that your genetics are in the right place, so you're in the 25%, but it also probably tells you, or at least now you should know, that you're probably nutritionally quite decent, that your lifestyle's pretty good. So even if you're genetically perfectly fine, your lifestyle can actually cause these symptoms in some people. So yeah, good on you.
So it's a good idea to know anyway, just to maintain my lucky streak.
Definitely that, or hey, I mean, continue to stay lucky, but if you hear of somebody else that has an issue, then you can possibly get them to, the right care sooner.
Yeah. So what is the Femcy mission? Are you guys where you want to be yet? What are the plans for the next couple of years?
I think for the next couple of years, our goal is simply to become the lifestyle aid for women who are for people who are menstruating. So, if you're menstruating and if you have a problem, there is a lot of benefit in tweaking your nutrition and tweaking the way you exercise to match with your cycle. It can help you even if you're completely normal and have no problems, to become more productive, to get better gains from your workout, to tailor your skincare for better glowy skin throughout the month. So it can be as simple as these gains to as great as I suffered for so long and now I know why. It's because I had this underlying condition or this nutritional imbalance. So we just want to be an aid for people who are looking for solutions, and we hope to be the start of that journey for them.
How has the customer base grown? Are you seeing many more people come on board since COVID, or?
I have to say that, COVID's actually put all discretionary healthcare a little off of our minds. If you wanted to go to the dentist, in a lot of countries, people would not even dream of, the dentist during, COVID times. So I have, in many ways, conditions that are not pressing have been put on the back burner.
Right.
And that has, probably affected some gynecological, conditions as well. But that said, we've actually seen a lot of interesting user segments come on board. So there's not just, people that we thought would come on board, say, someone who's been diagnosed with PCOS or endometriosis and wants to manage their condition holistically. There's also been people who are planning to get pregnant and they want to be in the best physical shape possible so they can, conceive. There have also been people who just want to, get better gains or better skincare, people who, doing wellness and self-care because of the increased time that they have in 2020. So yeah, they've actually stumbled upon Femcy and it's helped some people like that. So that's been the 2020 experience for us as we grew.
What has your 2020 been like?
I can't.
Are you doing much self-care?
I wish I did. I mean, the only self-care I do is Femcy experiments. There's not been a difference. So I jumped straight from working in the corporate world in 2019 to Femcy in 2020. The only difference has been my office, which is where I'm at now, at home.
At home.
But I think, pretty much aside from that, it's been seamless.
Well, okay. I think I've come to the end of my questions. Is there actually I kind of want to know if you could have a super feature on the Femcy app, what would it be? Like a dream feature that you guys don't have yet now?
Okay, it's a scientific feature that doesn't exist. It can be anything from Star Wars. Okay, I
Yes.
want something telepathic. So, the greatest pain that we all have is, I don't want to go onto the app and enter some data in order to get results. I wish you could just telepathically, beam it in, like, so we
I
know
feel like
what's going
Elon
on
Musk
inside your
could do
body.
that for you.
It's coming, but not soon enough. So, yeah, and probably not safely enough. We're waiting for that to happen. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Nandhini, for joining us today. It's been short and sweet. I wish you all the best with Femcy and with fundraising or pitching with Femtech Lab. I don't know where you are with that right now, but all the best for the next year. And thank you so much. And I hope to see you again.
Thank you, Karen. It's been wonderful. Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.